Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Thanks for tuning in. Great to be with you, and happy holidays. However and wherever you may be listening to the show and whatever you may be doing, the holidays are here. And we're going to talk a little turkey today before Dr. Michael Lyon comes along. Glad that he's on. I like Dr. Lyon. He's understated. You know, he says things quietly, soft-spoken. But pay attention. He's got so much clinical experience. Man, oh, man. All day long in the clinic. All day long. It's a huge clinic up in Canada. It's a weight loss clinic sponsored by the government. How about that? And the only way you get into that clinic is by referral from another physician. He gets all the patients that nobody else can deal with. And they treat about 200, 300 a day. Amazing. So you always want to listen to people like that because, you know, they're there. So we'll get to Dr. Lyon. And I'm going to share a few things with you about turkey. I don't eat meat, but I know people that eat meat with their meat, but, you know, you need to turn your mic.
Side of meat.
What's that?
With a side of meat.
Yeah, I got a meat entree with a side of meat. Meat with their meat. We'll talk a little bit about turkey. I'm going to help you to decode some of the labels, and maybe you'll make a better or a healthier choice. So I'll help you with that. And please call in if you have any ideas about Thanksgiving or the holidays and cooking and food and healthy alternatives, or maybe not so unhealthy, but taste yum.
You can reach us at 877-897-8255. That's 877-897-8255. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, and that's Facebook at Let's Talk Nutrition, at LTN Radio on Twitter, and Let's Talk Nutrition on Instagram.
The Thanksgiving and the holidays, and Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah and all that, I don't know about you, but for me, that's when I miss my mom the most. The cooking, she started weeks out, you know, and I used to see her do that. I watched that my whole life. And the food was just phenomenal. Fabulous food. And she did it. I'll tell you this story. One day, it's when I had to put her in a nursing home. And I had promised her I wouldn't do it unless I had to. And I couldn't take care of her anymore. I just couldn't do it. I needed help. But I put her in a nice place. It was wonderful. And we were sitting outside one day. And it was a fall day. You know, there's here in Florida, that was crisp. It was a crisp fall day. And the sun was shining, but it was a little cool outside. And we were sitting out there, and the sun was just, it was just a beautiful moment. And I was sitting there, and it was around the holiday. In fact, on my phone, I have a picture of her around that time. It was not too long before she passed away. So she was sitting there with me, and we were together, and I was saying to her mom, I said, you know, I really miss all your cooking and all the holidays, all that work you did. And I started to tell her all the things that she used to do. And she took care of my sister. My sister was cognitively challenged. She was impaired severely. And my mom gave her a normal life. And I was talking to her about all of those things, all the wonderful things that she did for the family. I went on for a good while. You know, all the cooking, and she would, you know how that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she looked at me, and I said, Mom, you know, I never heard you complain, ever. She said, because I loved every moment of it. I loved every moment of it. And it's true, as God is my judge. I never heard my mother complain. Not one time. Not once. This is too hard. I can't do it. Or just complain. Mm-mm. She just did it. And what I got the privilege to watch was someone who was disciplined, who got up every day and did it, just got things done, did them by the numbers, and no education. She had no education. She was an immigrant and the smartest, and she was my best teacher. And that's what I miss during the holidays. Smell the aromas and the aroma and the different aromas in the house, and to see her and my, family and whatnot. So that's what the holidays, for me, that's, even though, it gave so much meaning, and still to this day, even though she's gone. My sister's gone, my dad, so it's me. But that's what makes the holidays meaningful. So that's why I love the holidays. Just a way to remember my mother and celebrate her. But she would take great pains to prepare that turkey, man. You would think that turkey was going to be served up at Mass. Most people buy a conventional turkey. Now, here's what I can tell you about conventional turkeys. And please be mindful, though I'm just a messenger here. Don't shoot the messenger. Almost all turkeys raised and sold in the U.S., almost all, I didn't say all, are bred for what? To have a lot of white meat. Large breast, white meated, if you will, turkeys. They're raised in crowded conditions. I don't know if you've ever seen a turkey farm, what goes on there. It's not pleasant. They're likely treated with antibiotics and growth-boosting hormones. You know why they treat them with antibiotics, right?
No.
Because they're raised in such close quarters with one another.
Really?
Yeah. Same thing with pigs. Any animals where they raise them in such crowded conditions, they're prone to infection. And so hence they have to give them antibiotics. That's why they give them the antibiotics. And then they want them to grow big. How do you think those turkeys get that big breast, all that white meat? They're giving them growth boosting hormones. And possibly they sometimes, not all the time, they can be injected with saline or brine. You know what brine is, right?
Yeah, that's isn't that sodium water?
Somewhat, yeah. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. How many turkeys you think are, Gary's showing you an image if you're watching. There's got to be thousands in that picture, right?
Yeah.
There's well over 1,000 there, Gary. There's several thousand turkeys crowded into. And they sometimes they will inject them with oils, and they will inject them with flavors, or they'll inject them with preservatives. Didn't know that, huh? Just saying. I'm just saying. Now, you can get pasture raised. There's different ways they refer to them. And there are some delicious alternatives. And I'll share that with you. And I would share with you this. Go to the Environmental Working Group, and you will see something like this. If you're watching, Gary might find it and put it up on the screen. It's called Let's Talk Turkey. And everything that I'm sharing with you now is on this little one sheet of paper. Thanksgiving coming up. We'll be back.
I'm Joy McCarthy, holistic nutritionist, and I expect more from my multivitamin. I've researched many vitamins, and what's truly different about Every Woman's One Daily from New Chapter is that it's fermented with probiotics and whole foods and gentle even on an empty stomach. Every Woman's One Daily helps you feel good every day. giving you immune, energy, and stress support, and nutrients for bone and heart health. You will notice a difference. Every Woman's One Daily recently won the Best Multivitamin Award, and I love that it's non-GMO project verified. Discover the wisdom of nature with New Chapter.
Whether you spend your free time on a treadmill, under a car, or in your garden, if your active lifestyle leaves you sore, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce may be exactly what you need. Inflammaforce has a natural herb blend that acts as an anti-inflammatory to help maintain healthy joint and mobility support. There are standardized herbs like white willow, boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and devil's claw. The vegetarian capsule promotes easy digestion and a fast-acting dissolve process. Inflammaforce includes a proprietary enzyme herbal blend full of antioxidants and flavonoids that target pain and inflammation throughout the body. Body Vigor's Inflammaforce contains ingredients that support normal, healthy joint flexibility and function, builds healthy tissue, and helps with your recovery process. So if you're tired of sore joints and inflamed muscles, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce is your answer. Purchase Inflammaforce.
So you walk into the supermarket or the grocery store and you're going to buy a turkey. Probably frozen or whatever. And you look and they all look the same and price, whatever, how many pounds, and you buy it. It's most likely a conventional turkey. Well, not to make it complicated, but there's things you need to know in buying that turkey. And I just told you something about conventional turkeys that are sold, most turkeys sold in this country. They're bred for large white breasts, so there's a lot of white meat. They're raised in crowded conditions, typically. They're treated with antibiotics and growth-boosting hormones quite often. The antibiotics is because there's so many of them in such a small space, they spread disease. And they're injected oftentimes with saline, oils, flavors, and even preservatives. They're still alive. They're injected with preservatives subsequently. Now, there is USDA certified organic turkeys. No GMO feed, antibiotics, or growth hormones. When it says USDA certified organic, that means there should be no GMO feed that they were given, no antibiotics or growth hormones, and they had outdoor access. Okay, USDA certified organic. That's what that typically means. Then you have heritage or what's called heirloom turkeys. Oh, you might not be familiar with that. These are turkeys that are descended from a historic breed. Why do they do that? They want to preserve the genetic diversity and prevent extinction. They have turkeys like that. They tend to be smaller, though, than these conventional turkeys. People get seduced into buying, these turkeys that an Arnold Schwarzenegger version type of turkey. The heirloom turkeys are not as big. True heritage turkeys, the Environmental Working Group reports, should be bred by natural mating and raised mostly, notice mostly, outdoors. There's no artificial, they don't put them it's natural breeding and raised mostly outdoors. That's with heritage or heirloom turkeys. Then you have pasture-raised turkeys. Now, the EWG says that the amount of time they spend outdoors and their conditions can vary now. To confirm a pasture-raised claim on a label that has been verified on a farm, you have to look for one of the animal welfare certification labels. If you go to the Environmental Working Group, you can see what those look like. And then you have what's called humanly raised. There is such a thing. Some claims do not require the turkeys have access to the outdoors. And the EWG says, however, these animals' welfare certifications do, and they can ensure the turkeys were raised without antibiotics or growth promoters. So you have USDA certified organic, heritage or heirloom turkeys, pasture-raised, humanly raised. Now, let me tell you something about this business about free range. Maybe you have the idea that they're sort of just roaming around the property. That's not what's going on. They have some access. They still are indoors. It's not totally free range. Not like a horse out in the pasture running around all day. No. So just so we're clear on that. If you have a comment or question or something you'd like to contribute to this conversation, get connected and call
877-897-8255. That's 877-897-8255.
Didn't know there was so many.
Well, I'm as you're talking, I'm looking through the whole turkey gamut, as you would say, and it's amazing because you can find non-GMO turkey, just the breast meat, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe that's how I want to start going.
I'm trying to get you to an all plant-based diet, but
a dark turkey. It's my.
I know you like dark turkey meat.
That's my thing.
You know why, don't you?
No, why?
Because it has all the fat.
Oh,
The dark meat has the fat. Fat makes it taste good.
it is good.
Ma-
I can walk around Disney
I-
World and eat one of them turkey legs.
Oh, those are disgusting, man. Oh my God, I hate those things.
Yeah, I could.
You could assault somebody with one of those, hit them on the head. Oh my
the
goodness.
big old turkey legs.
Oh, they look rank, man. You can eat that?
Oh yeah,
Are you serious?
mustard on it.
Oh, jeez.
Mustard's healthy, right? At least Steve, help me here.
I don't know if he would eat that either. I don't know. I see people. You're right. I see people at these theme parks walking around with that big old turkey.
I'm with Gary.
Thank you.
Oh, jeez.
That's good eats.
That's good eats. You listen to these guys. No, man, I've never eaten one of those things.
Never.
They're nasty, man. Come on. Really? And some of them they look like a miniature baseball bat.
There's some big ones.
Oh, I know. You are listening to Let's Talk Nutrition. I'm not eating any turkey legs on here.
The perfect complement to your beauty regimen? Try Form Essentials Zinnia. The finest of its kind, Zinnia offers twice as much biotin as other formulas, which has proven to unlock the vibrancy in even the dullest of hair, skin, and nails. Zinnia breaks through and rejuvenates cells internally, helping you achieve the allure of effortless beauty. Reviving your hair, skin, and nails has never been easier. This essential blend of biotin, alpha-lipoic, and hyaluronic acid, collagen, and vitamin C creates lasting enhancements to your natural good looks. Don't go on wondering. You're worth the results. This combination of ingredients can only be found in Zinnia. Pamper yourself with a proven bit of affordable luxury and start looking your best. Ask for Zinnia by name at your nearest vitamin retailer to begin your journey to restored nails, head-turning hair, and radiant skin today. For more information, visit formessentials.com.
When your alarm goes off, do you jump out of bed with excitement? Or does it take multiple alarms, a few snooze buttons, or a morning caffeine fix to get you going? These habits and daily stress cause a vicious cycle in which sleep becomes increasingly elusive. In fact, 54% of Americans report struggles to fall or stay asleep. For a better night's rest, look no further than Solace, an all-natural dietary supplement that supports healthy sleep and relaxation, so you get the rest you need to wake up clear-eyed, alert, and ready for the day. Solace has given thousands a better night's rest and the power to take back their mornings while enjoying the day ahead of them. Solace is formulated with non-addictive, scientifically proven, all-natural ingredients that support sleep and relaxation, such as melatonin, tryptophan, and 5-HTP. For more information or to order Solace, visit takesolace.com. Solace for healthy sleep naturally.
Happy holidays and welcome to the, the festive version of Let's Talk Nutrition. Glad to be with you. Thanks for tuning in wherever and however you may be listening or watching the show and whatever you may be doing. We're coast to coast, including Hawaii, and we're global. And Gary tracks that. We get global because we stream the show and it's uploaded onto 4 platforms every day. And globally, we get about 30,000 hits a day on average on the stream. Right, Gary?
Yes. Not only that, we made it to South America last week.
We did.
Buenos Aires.
Get out.
No.
Finally.
17 people, but it was 17 people.
Habla español. We made it to Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires.
All right, 17 viewers.
I'm hoping Leticia had something to do with that because she's Brazilian, you know.
Well, yeah, there you go. All right, so now we're on 6 continents. Let's go to, you can get connected. Here's a number to call.
877-897-8255. That's 877-897-8255.
That's a toll-free number. If you call outside the continental United States, it is
813-636-8255. That's 813-636-8255.
Let's go to Tampa, Florida. That's within the continental United States, and talk to Diana. Diana, welcome to the show. It's nice to have you on today.
Thank you. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I see you had a question. One of my producers, Stephen, was telling me that you had a question about a cancer-related question. Please, go ahead.
Yes. I was diagnosed 3 months ago with breast cancer, stage 1, invasive lobular breast carcinoma. And in the meantime, I had the estrogen resector and actually had the tumor removed, which was just a lumpectomy. And, of course, now I'm in the process of them trying to schedule with chemotherapy and radiation.
You had not had you did not have a mastectomy?
No.
Okay.
Just the tumor removed.
Just a lumpectomy.
Lumpectomy.
And you were stage 1A?
Stage 1.
Stage 1, okay.
Invasive lobular, which is a 2+ invasive.
Uh-huh.
But my question was, I have a friend in Ohio who has mentioned that when she had breast cancer, what was effective for her, rather than going through chemo and radiation and Herceptin, was talking about this Protocel, Protocel.
I know.
It's a liquid that you take that's supposedly supposed to help with preventing cancer.
All right.
I wasn't sure if you heard of anything about that.
Well, let me. If you give me a moment, you have. Are you in the middle of something? Can you have a moment?
Yes, I do.
All right. I'll tell you my experience. I'll give you my take, and as a cancer patient, and I'll give you my take as a professional. All right.
Okay.
All right. First of all, I pray for you, and I'm sorry that you have to experience this. And I know how challenging it is. I know the difficulty associated with it. And when you enter the world of cancer, it's an unpredictable, uncertain world, and so on and so forth. And I appreciate what you're experiencing, but your experience is yours. And I have a great deal of empathy for you. So I wish you the best.
Thank
you. In the course of a year, October the 19th was 1 year when I was first diagnosed with 2 different forms of cancer at the same time. Most people know that story. So I'm very fortunate to be sitting here talking with you.
Mm-hmm.
More than a few people came to me. And I remember one day I was in Starbucks and I was working, and this lady came up and was talking to me. And she knew who I was, blah, 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 and cancer. She said, "You need to go to Mexico." I'm thinking, well, maybe some resort. No, there's a clinic down there, Dr. Garco, and it's, it's going on and on about it. And it's $40,000. They got this therapy. They got this. And I said, she said, "I would never do chemo or radiation." Now, I was in the middle of it at the time. Okay. I was still able to come to work. And
I remember that day. Remember?
You
told me that story.
And she said, "You need to go down there and get this treatment." I would never do chemo, never do radiation. I said, "Let me ask you." I said, "Are there any clinical trials associated with this so-called therapy?" "Oh, I don't know, but I have a friend who, and then she proceeds to tell me about her friend. I've had a number of people do that with. They're well-intentioned, Diana. They're well-intentioned.
Right.
All right.
And I have read that also online. I've seen that. I've looked at Utopia Wellness.
Yeah. Well,
But
let
you
me
do
just.
have a lot of people, as you mentioned, come to you.
Oh, they
Now
will.
They come with me.
Yeah,
with this
and
Protocell.
they mean well. And
Yes, they do.
I'm going to get to the Protocell in a second. My oncologist, Dr. Matthew Fink, he's a young man. He's my daughter's age. And he's been doing this for 20 years. And he and I talked about this. And he said to me, Dr. Garko, if I knew of any other therapy other than chemo and radiation or some of the new therapies now that they're developing, I would do them. I don't know of any. I've been doing this for 20 years. And he said, I have patients come in here and telling me all kinds of things about this or that therapy. And he said, I decided to go the traditional route. And I bought into it 100% because I believed in Dr. Fink. He saved my life, Diana. I was stage 4, man. And my neck, and I had lung cancer at the same time, stage 1A. I was fighting 2 different forms of cancer. And I said to several people, I said, do you possibly think that I would put my life at risk by doing something where there's not even a doctor visit that I know of associated with some of these therapies, let alone a clinical trial? And so you have to believe in the therapy. And I believed in Dr. Fink, and I believed in the chemo and the radiation. I did my research.
Well, I think one of the things that was different between you and most people was, one, you were in great health to start with. 2, you came in here and worked almost every day. You had surgery. You didn't tell anybody. You didn't even tell me until 2 days later, which,
I understand. So message so far, and please don't hang up. I'll keep you here as long as you want to stay. There's much I can tell you because I don't know you,
Sure.
but I care about you.
I'm interested.
I care about you, and I want to just give you the information. Ultimately, you decide what you want to do.
Correct.
So, I believed in my oncologist the very first night I met him. I knew I was with the right person, and I believed in what he was going to do for me, and I believed in the therapy. So you got to start there. If you don't believe in the therapy, it becomes troublesome. Now, when we come back, I'll tell you about Protocell and what the evidence is. We'll be back.
Whether you spend your free time on a treadmill, under a car, or in your garden, if your active lifestyle leaves you sore, Body Figures Inflammaforce may be exactly what you need. Inflammaforce has a natural herb blend that acts as an anti-inflammatory to help maintain healthy joint and mobility support. There are standardized herbs like white willow, boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and devil's claw. The vegetarian capsule promotes easy digestion and a fast-acting dissolve process. Inflammaforce includes a proprietary enzyme herbal blend full of antioxidants and flavonoids that target pain and inflammation throughout the body. Body Vigor's Inflammaforce contains ingredients that support normal, healthy joint flexibility and function, builds healthy tissue, and helps with your recovery process. So if you're tired of sore joints and inflamed muscles, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce is your answer. Purchase Inflammaforce exclusively on Amazon.com.
And we're back. Welcome to the show. If you just tuned in, talking with Diana in Tampa. She was recently diagnosed with breast cancer and had a lumpectomy performed. And chemo, I guess I'll have to ask her if I can't recall what she said, if she is in chemo, going to do the chemo, whatever. But she's asking me about a therapy called Protocell. And I'm going to give her the breakdown on that. And Diana, welcome back. So for those who just tuned in, if you're a cancer patient, you're diagnosed, you're at the front end of this or in the middle or wherever, you have to commit to the therapy. It's very important to do that, and you have to believe in your oncologist. Otherwise, the psycho-emotional distress associated with all that gets in the way of the therapy. The therapy is difficult enough as it is. That's my general message so far. And Diana, are you going to do chemo or have done it or are in it?
I have not done it. My question was I'm in the process that was trying to figure out to go with Protocell.
Okay.
Or to actually go through the chemo
okay.
Herceptin, because we're talking about with breast cancer almost like a 6-year treatment. You go through the.
I understand.
The process, and then I even checked with Dr. Ian, who's a holistic doctor, to do IV transfusions like vitamin C while you're taking chemo. And boost your immune system, rather go through that protocol or to go through the therapy of Protocell, which I do have.
Oh, did I lose her?
Went away without surgery.
Okay. All right. And Matt, how old are you?
64.
Okay. You sound very young, by the way.
Thank you.
According to the National Cancer Institute, Protocell is also known as, has different names. It's called Cancel, Cantron. It's also called Sheridan's Formula, Jim's Juice, JS 114, JS 101, 126F. And the Cancel-like products, Cantron and Cantron and Protocell. That Protocell is a liquid. It's been manufactured and produced in various forms, primarily by 2 manufacturers, since the 1930s. Okay? It's been around a long time. It's been promoted and marketed as an effective therapy for cancer and a wide range of other diseases like AIDS, lupus, scleroderma, cystic fibrosis, multiple sclerosis, adult onset diabetes, emphysema, Parkinson's, and any number of diseases. Okay? What is it? What's in the liquid? The exact composition of Protocell or Cancel or Cantron, whatever name they're using, is unknown. Clearly, that's not clear. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, has listed the components as inositol, nitric acid, sodium sulfite, potassium hydroxide, sulfuric acid, and catechol. There was also another compound, the original manufacturer said that there was a compound in it called crocinic acid. Well, no, chemists have not been able to identify what that compound is. So I don't know what that is.
Okay.
An independent analysis of one formulation of Protocell, according to the National Cancer Institute, found 12 different compounds, none of which is known, according to the National Cancer Institute, to be effective in treating any form of cancer. That's a direct quote from the National Cancer Institute. What else can I tell you about it? It's a mixture of the chemicals that I told you.
Right.
There are no animal studies. There are no human studies of Protocell that have been published in a peer-reviewed, scientific, reputable journal to show that it is safe or effective in treating cancer. Again, this is according to the National Cancer Institute. It is not approved, by the way, by the FDA for use in the United States as a treatment for a disease. In fact, according to the NCI, quote, there is a permanent injunction against distribution, close quote. Now, there are many people in the world of natural health and natural medicine that some of them might even be listening to me right now or watching me and not liking what I'm telling you and think that I am trying to undermine this so-called alternative therapy. I'm a scientist. I was trained as a social scientist. I was taught, show me the data. There are no data that will convince me. If you were my sister or a relative of mine or a close friend, you don't even have to be. You're a listener of this show, and that's good enough for me. I would encourage you to think twice, but I would talk to your oncologist about it. Now, there are many people that I invariably find somebody who knows somebody who did this and was cured. All right? But that's not enough data. That's anecdotal data. That's not enough data to put your life in jeopardy, man. It's just not.
Yeah, that's correct. You're right. And that's why I had concerns about it. I understand everyone trying to help out with the situation, but I was sticking to the protocol of the chemo and the way that the oncologist mentioned to move forward. But then you get, I'm a healthy, trying to be a holistic person, so I get my friends telling me, things that they've done or things they worry about that they've seen that's gone through the chemo and so forth.
I'm going to be honest with you.
I appreciate the detail.
Chemo, I had to do chemo and radiation. I did 36 hours of chemo, 31 hours of radiation, 8 hours of Olympta, all intravenous, and 4 surgeries. I did that in 1 year.
Wow.
I wish I could say to you, it was very difficult. And that's the truth. But you know what? You believe in God, you believe in yourself, and believe that therapy is going to work. And you listen to your oncologist if you're satisfied with that. I went to Florida Cancer Institute, or Florida Cancer Specialist, and Dr. Matthew Fink was my oncologist. He saved my life, and he put my team together of 3 other doctors. I wish you the best, and you stay in touch with me and let me know how you're doing.
Whether you spend your free time on a treadmill, under a car, or in your garden, if your active lifestyle leaves you sore, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce may be exactly what you need. Inflammaforce has a natural herb blend that acts as an anti-inflammatory to help maintain healthy joint and mobility support. There are standardized herbs like white willow, boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and devil's claw. The vegetarian capsule promotes easy digestion and a fast-acting dissolve process. Inflammaforce includes a proprietary enzyme herbal blend full of antioxidants and flavonoids that target pain and inflammation throughout the body. Body Vigor's Inflammaforce contains ingredients that support normal, healthy joint flexibility and function, builds healthy tissue, and helps with your recovery process. So if you're tired of sore joints and inflamed muscles, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce is your answer. Purchase Inflammaforce exclusively on Amazon.com.
And welcome to the show. Great to be with you. Thanks for tuning in today, and happy holidays to you wherever and however you may be listening or watching the show, and whatever you may be doing. Thanks for your listenership and your support. We appreciate it very much. I have lots of faults, but taking audience member for granted is, or an affiliate or a guest is not one of them. Trust me about that, for sure. Sometimes I get their names wrong. Was that day before yesterday? We had a guest. His name is Jordan Whitmire, and I kept calling him Whittemire. And he was, the poor thing. He was.
He rolled with it.
He rolled with it. He was polite enough to. Finally, during one of the breaks, says, I don't want to say anything, but my name's Whitmire. And I said, not today. It's not. Today it's Whittemire. We made it and turned into the health question of the day. And somebody won. Oh, my goodness. So I may get their name wrong from time to time. That doesn't happen very. And I said to him, listen, me making a mistake, you don't need to alert the media on that one. It's all good. This is live radio. We like it organic like that. It's better that way, right?
It is.
It's much better. No canned, no pre-recorded, no mistake. No, man, that's not life.
I mean, we're live. You can call now at 877-897-8255. I got a couple questions, especially after that last call. Disease is scary.
For sure.
Any disease is scary.
Absolutely.
Be it ringworm, be it cancer, because you don't know how your body's going to react.
Exactly.
Okay. And not only does it affect your body physically, but it affects you emotionally. Okay.
For sure.
And you went through this with your ordeal like most people did, not knowing what was going to happen.
Had no clue.
If you gave her any advice besides doing the chemo and the radiation,
right,
what would it be?
Okay. That's a good question. And what Gary's referring to, if you just tuned in, we had a caller here in Tampa, and she was diagnosed recently with stage 1 breast cancer. And somebody had told her to take this therapy called Protocell, masquerades under different names. And it's been around since the 1930s. There are no clinical trials. There are no animal studies, human studies to support its safety and efficacy. So that's the context for Gary's question. The one piece of advice is based on a question, Gary, that I would get all the time and still do. How did you do it? And what they mean is, and what they meant was, how were you able to go to work? How were you able to do all that you did? And you live alone. You're by yourself. I did this by myself. How did you do it? This is the advice. What I did was I figured out how to live in the moment, within the margins of the moment. Notice my language. The margins of the moment. Like this moment I have right now, at this very instant, I am no other place than right here, right now, with you. And that's how I went through all of that difficult therapy. And Gary's right. It's scary. Anybody tells you they're not afraid, I don't know what to say about that. You're afraid almost every day because you don't know what's going to happen to you. And you have to learn. That's why you have to learn to live within the margins of the moment. That's called mindfulness. And literally, you get up, you put your feet on the floor and say, okay, now I'm going to go and go to the bathroom. Now I'm going to shave. Now I'm going to get dressed. And that you have to stay within the margins of that moment and that moment only. Especially when you're in the grips of the treatment, when you feel so horrible. Because if you drift out of the margins of the moment, think about yesterday or think about what's going to happen to you or think about anything other than that moment, you can't make it. You can't. It's difficult. That's the best piece of advice. I can give you other pieces of advice, and there is no manual. There's so much written on cancer, what to do before, what to do during, what to do after. But the truth be told, that all that's helpful, and you should read it. And when I finish my book, I would ask you to read it. But I'm just going to say this to you. No matter how much you read, no matter what people tell you, there is really no manual. And you have to live it. And learn to live in the moment. Guess what? Turns out that mindfulness is thousands of years old. It's 6,000 years old. And Buddhism talked about mindfulness thousands of years ago. And that's how I made it. And that's how I live my life right now. Always in the moment. And that's the best piece of advice. And there's another piece of advice. Unsolicited. Don't try to do this alone. I did it alone. I had no choice. My daughter was in another place, another state. She came down once in a while. But day in and day out, I was by myself. I wouldn't recommend that. Whether it's cancer or anything else, any serious disease or illness. If you have somebody that cares about and loves you, be grateful. Because there'll be moments when, there were moments when I wanted a cup of tea or just some broth, and I couldn't make it. I couldn't even get up to make it. And you're by yourself. And then in nights when you get up and you're lost in your emotions, and you drift, and you're scared out of your wits, and you're walking the floor, not feeling good, and you're by yourself, you have to be wired a very special way to do that. I wouldn't, and I am, but I still would not recommend it, Gary.
The reason why I ask is because, one, this show is more of an informative show and not a show. It's not a pity party. Dr. Garko, feel sorry for me.
No,
I've got cancer. I mean, we were doing pull.
I was during treatment. During treatment, I was doing push-ups, pull-ups. We were doing all kinds of things, right?
We were doing it the other day out in the parking lot. You're showing me how to do pull-ups, and it mind boggles me that people, you prep for a hurricane, okay?
Good point.
Okay. You prep to go on a picnic. You prep to go on a boat. You prep to go do everything else in your life, but you don't prep for your health.
You don't. See, Gary's only been doing this show a little over a year, and he never was involved in health shows. And he's heard me talk about preparation versus prevention. He's absolutely right. And my plan on December what day am I doing?
December 7th.
On December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, I'll be appearing at the Vitamin Discount Center store in South Tampa. If I have a few moments, I'll be there for 2 hours from 12 to 2. I will talk to whoever's the people that are there, and I was thinking about it last night at the gym. I want to spend a few moments with them talking about preparation. You're absolutely right. You have to prepare. And that means a lot of different things. And that's my other unsolicited piece of advice. And I had a young man last night at the gym come up to me and ask me how I was doing, and I told him I'm doing good and doing well, and I'm here working out. And he said, man, I don't know how you did it. He said, I know someday I'm going to have to face this. And he said, it's scary. I said, I know it is. I said, but you'll have the courage at the time. This is on nobody wants to talk about it. They're afraid to talk about it.
They're afraid to talk about any disease in general.
You got to be optimistic. It's okay. It's all good, man. It's all good. We'll be back. All right, welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition, wherever and however you may be listening or watching, and whatever you may be doing, coast to coast or globally. We love it, and we love you for doing it. I mean it. I don't just say that. I mean it. I would encourage you to pay a visit to the Environmental Working Group, their website, ewg.org. You'll learn a lot there. They're so good at what they do. They have wonderful reports and insight, science-based, evidence-based. You'll learn a lot there. And I was talking about turkeys and earlier in the first portion of the show and different kinds, different alternatives other than buying a conventional turkey. You can buy a USDA certified organic, a heritage or heirloom turkey, a pasture-raised turkey, a humanly raised turkey. All those things mean something different. I explained that earlier.
Wait, Doc, I'm going to later on tonight, I'm going to get, I thought Doc was a plant-based diet. Was he talking about alternatives to turkey?
Well, other people eat meat. Just because I don't doesn't mean everybody's entitled to their food choice. I'm just trying to get people to do it in a healthy way. They also have a report that's called the Meat, Eat Less, Eat Greener. They didn't say don't eat. They said eat less and eat greener. It's a wonderful guide, Meat Eater's Guide it's Meat Eater's Guide to Climate Change Plus Health. That's the title of it. And was originally published back in July of 2011. And I have used that report a number of times. It's on their website. It's free. Some reports they ask you to donate something to get some of the reports because it's a nonprofit outfit. But many of the reports are for free. This one's free. All you have to do is register, get on their mailing list.
I posted the website to our Facebook page.
Good. Here's some tips. If you're going to eat meat, then there's things you need to keep in mind when you're shopping. You want to eat greener meat when you do eat it. Okay? So these are some tips. First, when shopping, look for on the label, is it grass-fed or pasture-raised meat? Turns out that grass-fed or pasture-raised meat, derived meat, has fewer antibiotics and hormones, and in some cases may have even more nutrients and even less fat. Livestock live in more humane and open sanitary conditions when they're grass-fed or pasture-raised. Now, when they say something is free range, it doesn't mean that they're out there roaming around all the time. That's not true. They often get housed and put in a kennel of some sort or another. So look for grass-fed or pasture-raised on the label. Another thing, lean cut meats. The lean cuts. That's been around a long time. It's a good piece of advice. Less fat will mean fewer calories and cancer-causing toxins. It turns out that many of these pesticides and other agents, chemical agents that get into the animals that we consume, get stored in the fat. So that's why you want to go for the leaner cuts too. Not just because less saturated fat and less risk for heart disease, and less calories, but also less toxins. Again, no antibiotics or hormones. These xenoestrogens that get put into these, the hormones that get put into these animals create these xenoestrogens and make humans estrogenic. Get too much estrogen. So you look for that label.
Were you with me when we heard the guy talk about the chicken nuggets gave the little boy breasts?